Hi, everybody.
I told you.
Wonderful to be able to come to you this evening. I would say to see you tonight, but none of you shits have showed up yet, so we gotta wait until we see the numbers start to climb, and then we'll welcome you in. But first, before we welcome you, we have two wonderful, beautiful guests with us this evening.
Well, one beautiful.
You're pretty.
I'm talking about me.
Oh, fair enough.
She's just hot. She's hot.
Very true. Also, we are coming to you from the Old Mill Bar.
Old Mill Lounge.
Old Mill Lounge.
In Old Mill.
What the fuck's the difference between a bar and a lounge?
A bar is just drinking. Here you can sit back. Damn, this is deep.
Yeah, it is.
Are you going to be able to get out of there?
Play a little pool. Listen to some music. See some fun people. Things like that. More of a social.
Social.
Sure.
See, they're trying to help me become more social. I've been told
Good luck with that.
I'm not very friendly, but I'm trying. And you see, it's difficult for me to be able to be like that all the time. But welcome to a killer Friday. We have kicked James the hell up out of here because this is not for him this evening. We're going to be discussing Rosemary West. And that was by your request. You voted her. You voted for this sadistic, evil, wonderful lady. We're going to talk all about her this evening. But before we get into that, we always have a couple of things that we have to go over. So we're going to start with that. Number one, Grave Digger, if you could, there is this, I'm terrible with names.
Scare actors. Oh, you mean the actual name of Scurry Face?
Face Scurry.
Scurry Face.
Okay.
You know, like that's a Scurry Face. That right there, there's a Scurry Face. You got to be from the south to get to. That's a Scurry Face right there.
Trying. I've been told it's not even called the Book of Faces, but I think that's a much better name. Anyways, Scurry Face, please continue.
Scurry Face. Y'all already know what Scurry Face is. Everybody knows what Scurry Face is. So they got this thing called the Scare Actor Spectacular going on. It's a popularity contest. That's what it is. And it's just for fun. And it started out with I don't know how many hundreds of people in it. 75 or something.
It was
Hundreds.
a little over 100.
Was it over 100?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. And it's been going on since March. I think it's been a long time it's been going on, and it's kind of a bracket deal, and they whittle it down, and they're down to one of the finalists, and then two are competing this week to find out who the other finalist is, and it's just there to kind of help grow the characters and to promote the haunts like Sinister Sydney and Sydney, Iowa.
I can't. I have to stop him. The humility that he is displaying right now truly makes me want to vomit. So allow me to explain this better than what he is doing right now. This is Grave Digger, okay? He is going to win because you have no other options than to vote for him. Voting for anyone else will get you locked in a chamber with me for a very long time. And as the lovely lady over here will attest, it's not a fun place to be. But Grave Digger, you can go vote at Scurry Face right now for his next victim. And I believe we have a Mr. Giggles and
Tiggy Terror.
Tiggy Terror.
That is Guthrie Hans. Giggles is from Guthrie Hans, and Tiggy is from Woods Terror. And so they're going this week. They'll go through Sunday at noon. One vote per every 12 hours per IP. Personally, and I've been telling people this because I'm straight up, Tiggy's my girl, but Giggles, I mean, he's made it this far. He is the last clown standing. Out of all the clowns that were in the beginning, this dude has made it. He has made it to the last clown standing, so I give him big props for that, too.
I already took care of Scurry Face's last clown. What was that, Moto? We already took care of him anyway, so... That he is! Well, actually, reality, I kind of like him a little bit. But he is a pussy.
A little bit, yeah, it's about all he's got.
Well, I mean, yeah, a never-ending supply of nut juice as well.
There you go.
But anyways, vote for, I'm going to say this because I would like to see, I like a battle of emotion. And I think that if Grave Digger is forced to put Tiggy down, which is what's going to happen, I can feed off of that emotional distress from him a little bit. And I want to do that. So I encourage you to go vote for Tiggy. Mr. Giggles is wonderful. But let's get rid of all the clowns, please. And let's go ahead and let's see Grave Digger go one-on-one with Tiggy. And Tiggy will throw you a wonderful consolation party and make sure that everybody knows how wonderful you are. Because you are. This is the man. This is the man that's going to take it.
The man, the myth, the legend in his own mind.
The Reverend Grave Digger. So, for now, go vote for Tiggy. That's who we're going to endorse.
There's another plus. If it's Tiggy, because Tiggy's a demon, and I'm a reverend. So, we're really going to have some matches if that happens.
That puts me in a little bit of a dilemma.
Yeah, well, now you're alright.
Anyways, moving on past Scary Face. Moving on to things haunted honeymooner related. As of this morning, 6,500 plus likes, nearing 6,600. As always, we always thank you all so much for your love and support of all of the many, many fucked up, horrible things that we bring to you as often as we possibly can. And here we are tonight with some more evil terror to present to you. Live from Omaha, Nebraska, at the Old Mill Lounge, not a bar. It's a lounge. I've been corrected. See how he lounges in the lounge? Anyways.
This kind of hurts my neck.
I believe it is almost 24 hours before Trish and James have to enter into my asthma.
It's less.
It's less than 24 hours.
Haven't we talked about you talking back to me?
Okay, it's less than 24 hours.
Fair enough. You see, I can listen. He's knowledgeable.
Just let me know. I'll whack him with my fan.
Well, she's used to this. This is nothing for her. So, less than 24 hours, the miasma experience will begin. It has begun for them a little bit already with the phone calls and the text messages and all of that wonderful stuff that they've been doing, the horrible recordings that they've been sending to them, talking to them, getting them psyched and ready for tomorrow evening's festivities. Now, to make sure... felt things around me. Presence, perhaps. But... it does feel good. It does. I'm glad you brought her.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. I might replace Trish with her.
No.
No?
I got two husbands already. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
He doesn't let me have the things I want. He's really, he denies me more than...
It's a damn good thing for the world that I don't do.
That's to be seen. Perhaps I can coerce him into giving me more things in the future, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways.
I already gave you a butt.
Oh, yes, and we have to talk about this beautiful, beautiful
You don't have to talk about it, but he got a butt.
Excuse me.
He's going to talk about the butt.
Oh, go ahead, Doug.
Let go.
You see?
There's the button.
That was a much better view of the button than what I could possibly do. See, I told you,
Yeah,
Killer
the
Friday,
women
you're
will
going to
notice
get
the
some
button,
boobs
the guys
tonight. How
won't.
about that? But anyways, moving on, my asthma will happen this evening. They will also be going to Ocon and spending the day with these two lovely folks to try to keep them calm, rational, and not panic and get in their car and drive all the way back to West Virginia before they even go through. Because truth be told, I believe they're both a little more nervous about it than they like to let on. But we'll see, we'll see.
They brought extra underwear.
So, if you were to take a wager, and one of these two was to tap out tomorrow evening, who's tapping? What?
She's a woman. They don't do it just for spite. See,
I won't tap.
logical. We know when we hit the end. When
No.
we hit the end, we know it.
There is no
Women,
end.
For spite, they will keep going. She will have to be dragged out on a stretcher before she taps out.
I can't tap. I can't do a review if I tap. There you go.
There you
Not
go.
allowed.
Well,
That's if. That's if. I don't foresee either one of these
Allowed.
happening.
we'll see.
The
That
whole thing
James,
is that was
I know
scary.
we talked about Moto being a pussy. That James can be a pretty big pussy.
Yeah, well, no argument.
We'll see. Now, July 11th will be coming right around the corner. They will be going to another horror-filled immersive hot stag cult. That sounds like something right up my alley. I'm a big fan of cults. So, we'll be seeing them go through their initiation process with stag, talking about stag. They're also going to the beach. They'll be doing several different escape room haunts down there, some different zombie attractions. Lots of stuff coming to you. Blood Prison is in the final stages being put together. It will be uploaded hopefully to you folks by Tuesday evening is the goal. I don't know if you know or not, but usually we're pretty busy on Monday nights, so it's kind of hard for us to be able. And speaking of Monday nights, aren't you right around the corner? Huh? You forgot you're on the show?
Oh, right! Oh, yeah, that would be Monday night. Oh, well, is that this coming Monday?
No.
No, it's the next one.
Yes.
It's the 8th.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Are you gonna be there?
I was thinking about this Monday.
Are you gonna be there?
I've got, well, yeah,
Will you please make sure he's there?
Got it.
she'll
I
take
have to keep him in mind because he sees too many squirrels.
I think he just saw one a moment ago. I'm not for sure though. Possibly. But he will be on the show, Talking Scared, July 8th. Even if
Not just he, they. Mistress Laurie will be there too, so see that, because I gotta point that out, because that's why they tune in. They don't tune in for me, because I babble. They tune in for her, because she's in my line, and she's hot. Yeah, I know, but I'm telling them. She will be there, so tune in. Mistress Laurie will be there.
we all know they tune in for the beer.
Yeah, always.
Come on now. Come on. All right. Mothman Festival is also coming up, and we really hope to be able to see some of you wonderful folks come out and see them there. I am actually going to be there as well at the Mothman Festival. I don't know if I'm going to be there the whole time, but I will be there. Different increments, different times, stuff like that. So please come up and join us September 21st to the 22nd. And seriously, show some support. We'd love to see y'all come out. This is our first time trying any of this from the vendor aspect of it. So we'd really like to have you all come out, show some support and love like you already do on such a wonderful, awesome basis.
I just want to fly.
Maximus is a little behind. He wants to know where you guys are.
Max!
Hey,
Hi, Maximus. How you doing?
take his top fan badge away right now.
Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska, at the Old Mill Lounge in Old Mill, which is like 108th and Dodge in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's where we are.
You got 15 minutes to get your ass here.
It's a short drive. I promise it doesn't take too long at all. Just, pedal down all the way. You'll get here shortly. Now, I also believe that the Haunted Honeymooners will be on your show.
They will.
They will. Okay. That's coming up on September 7th.
Thank you.
And they will be there to make sure they royally ruin his show that evening. I don't know if you have seen James try to do any of these by himself, but it is an absolute train wreck. Lucky for these two, Trish will be coming with me as well.
Yes.
And be with him, me. I get confused. I forget who I am sometimes. Apologies. There's a lot going on up in here.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
I lost myself a long time ago. But anyways, we will be on their show on September 7th. We will also be on the Scurry 3 show on July 28th. We're not sure who all is going to be showing up for that, who isn't going to be showing up for that. But you just make sure that you tune in on July 28th for the Scurry 3 show. Last but not least, go check out my ass. I went and got my own. Yes, it's nice, thank you. 10,000 years old and my ass still kicks yours. Anyway.
I got a great ass, that's all.
Maybe that's the next voting, the Battle of the Asses.
Battle of the Asses, we can do it.
But anyways, I got my own book of face because I was told that I had to have one. And you all have showed some amazing support, and I thank you, my children. Nearing 400 likes already, and that page has only been around for about a week or so now, so much appreciation. The minister does thank you as much as he can from the bottom of what is left of his heart. He does thank you for that very much. And also, apologies, I know Sacrilegious Thursday did not happen last night. You know, there was a lot going on last night, and we had to drive all the way over today, and I had to make sure these two didn't wreck and all that other good jazz. So it just wasn't a good night for me. But I will have an absolutely amazing show for you coming up this Thursday with some surprise guests and some awesome story time. Perhaps we'll talk about some more Catholic saints that have been slain. Perhaps we won't. Who knows what we'll get into that night, but you make sure that you tune in to Experience Terror Team. That's where you can catch Sacrilegious Thursdays. It's always shared on Haunted Hiding Readers as well, so if you're lazy and you don't want to click one more click, I get it. We'll bring it to you where you are too. That's fine.
Join us.
Now, that covers all of the announcements. And what we're really here for this evening is to talk about just an absolutely, I guess I have to throw the disclaimer out there. We always do these serial killers. We never, ever want it to seem like we support serial killing. It's bad. Please don't do it. They're not heroes.
You know what I hate about them is they tend to bury their own. Puts me out of a job.
Oh, well, you're going to hate this one.
I know.
A lot of burying. And not one time did she ask Grave Digger to do it.
No.
So shame to her. Shame to her. And the other stuff that she did too, I'm ashamed to her for that. But mainly the Grave Digger disrespect is the main issue that I have. But anyways, we're here to speak about Rosemary West.
Rosemary West.
Yes. And also, if you know anything about Rosemary West, you know that her husband, Fred West, wasn't the coolest of people either.
He wasn't related to Adam.
Talking about the guy from Family Guy?
No, Adam West. Well, yeah, I guess he was Family Guy. You're right.
See, the minister knows some things too.
Yeah, he knows a little bit of the hip stuff, sure.
Yeah, I got to keep up with it.
Adam Weed.
No one messes with Adam Weed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adam West.
Yeah. Batman!
Oh!
The Batman, the only
The
Batman.
original
And you looked at me like I was crazy for thinking of Family Guy.
Holy peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Batman.
Yes. But, so that's a no.
But being that we are talking about him, Adam West is a beautiful soul that does belong to us now. So, real quick, little moment. And we're back. So a little moment for Adam West. But no, I don't believe there was any relation to Fred West. That would have been odd. Fred West was definitely not Batman.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. He did
Although
not.
he had a few bats in the Belfry.
A couple. But anyways, moving on. Rosemary West. This lady was born on November 29th, 1953 in Dublin, England. She married Fred West, who, as we just clarified, is not Batman, nor has he had any role on Family Guy. That is Adam West. He belongs to us now. Fred West is dead too, but we have rejected him. We have put him to the side.
This man was so sick, even he won't have anything to do with it.
And I've done some really sick things. Like all of this was a good priest. Like he didn't do anything. It was just wrong place, wrong time, and I needed a new face. So it happens sometimes. But anyways, she established her residence in that's a stupid city name. We're not even going to go with that. Gloucester?
If you know the city, let us know.
Fix your city names. How about that?
It's in the UK.
Yeah, it was across the ocean, okay?
They're weird over there.
They are. And
They talk weird, they got weird names.
they smell weird too.
Except for David Moody.
Killer Friday's taking a turn for the worst already, isn't it? Anyways, she marries Fred West. The couple became two of the most horrific serial killers known to the UK, responsible for the dismemberment and murder of women and young girls including 2 members of their own fucking family. And that's where I have to put my foot down right now. I could not support murdering your own family. Murdering strangers, I get it. Strangers suck. I quite often myself have murdered a few strangers. Might honestly end up doing it tonight. There was a lady over there that seemed a little terrified. She's still there. Yeah, I know, I see her over there. She's trying to ignore us as if we're not talking to her right now, but that's fine. That's fine. She'll pay for that later.
Yes, because we do have a live audience here.
Yes.
We do. We do have a live audience here tonight.
For now.
For now. We'll probably run them off before it's all said and done. But anyways, responsible for numerous murders of women and children, again including 2 members of their own family. If you're gonna kill strangers, please. Don't kill your own family. That's just no good.
Everybody wants to, but don't.
We'll be getting into their lives and times a good bit.
David said you never met his family.
Perhaps I have, David. Perhaps they're on my list. Probably not. Probably not. I shouldn't be threatening families. I feel like that's probably going a little too far. But Rosemary Rose, as we were talking about, born in Devon on November 29th, 1953. She was the result of a difficult pregnancy, so you know,
They actually did the whole electroshock on her mother while she was pregnant.
Yes, to fight depression.
She was zapped. Yeah, that's in the day that. Yeah.
Not only that, obviously both parents were suffering from mental illness and the shocking while you're pregnant. I'm not a medical doctor myself, but
Doesn't sound like a good idea.
no, it sounds like it really messed some things up pretty good.
shitty
Pretty
idea.
good.
Sounds like it might be fun.
So
It just depends on what you're thinking.
man, you need to keep her under control this evening.
Oh no. It don't
There's
go
no
that way.
hope.
It don't go that way.
She may be a bigger problem than I am today.
You never
So
know.
the electroshock therapy, more commonly known as electroconvulsive therapy, was administered to the pregnant mother because the doctors were a bunch of dumb shits. For deep depression, it says it may have caused some injury. I'm sure it probably did. It probably contributed to Rose's poor school performance, bouts of aggression growing up. She also had a weight problem in adolescence and developed an interest in older men. So,
Like her dad.
yeah.
We'll get to that.
That gets weird. Let's talk a little bit more about electroconvulsive therapy real quick and what exactly that is. This is a procedure that nowadays is done under general anesthesia. They still do this, by the way. Done under general anesthesia, so they are at least knocking people out now, so that's good. Small electrical currents are passed through the brain of the patient, and it intentionally triggers a brief seizure. Now that does sound like a killer time for me. I would love to just be able to trigger some brief seizures for some people. But this is supposed to help. So it often works when other treatments are unsuccessful. So basically, if you can't get your mental act together, they're going to shock the shit out of your brain eventually. So keep that in mind when you're acting all crazy. You need to stop acting all crazy before you get shocked. But that particular type of electroconvulsive therapy that we discussed was not the type that her mother went through. She went through the old school version of it, where it was, here, bite down on this and grip hold of this table. This shit's gonna get raw.
Break bones.
Yes.
They could convulse so hard their bones would fracture.
It was very, 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 very awful. And now, not only is that just her entrance into the world, it's full of violence, it's full of uncertainty. Both of your parents are off the rockers. They're shocking your mother while they're carrying her. And then the marriage of Rose's parents on top of it was a turbulent one, to say the least. Her father was a paranoid schizophrenic, prone to violent behavior, serving as a terrifying dictatorial presence. Her mother, Daisy, eventually moved out of the family home, taking Rose with her. Rose, however, decided to move back in with her father again around the same time that she became intimate with a man named Fred West during her teens. Now, who was this Fred West character that we speak of? So,
I'm waiting for the answer.
I bet you gasped. I thought maybe
No.
I had done something.
No, I was waiting for the answer.
Perhaps I had offended.
Who was Fred West?
Very well. His proper name was Frederick West. He dropped the Redrick part there at the end because it sounds stupid. Went with Fred West. He was born to Walter and Daisy West on September 29, 1941. He was also born in England. I'm not going to say the city he was born in because, again, England has not figured out how to properly name their cities. So, some say he seemed like any other young boy growing up with his aunt, eventually telling the press that he was always been such a nice boy. I feel like they always say that about the serial killers. They were never like, he was constantly cutting cats' heads off in the lawn or anything crazy like that. It was always, they were really nice people. Very, very nice way to hide your true self. One neighbor did describe him as a bit cheeky and a bit mouthy. A little cheeky. Kind of like this guy right here. He's a little cheeky. A little cheeky. Sometimes he's a little mouthy.
Never mind.
But West didn't do well in school, eventually dropped out to become a farm laborer. When he was 17, a motorcycle accident left him comatose for a week with serious head injuries. A metal plate was placed in his head, may have affected his behavior and impulse control according to some experts.
And give him a hard time at TSA.
I don't think Fred West was doing a lot of flying, he was busy doing a lot of murdering.
Oh, right.
A lot of murdering.
You can't take your murder weapons with you on planes.
Actually, you probably could back in Fred.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you could smoke on the planes back then, too.
That's true, you could. There's no smoking on the planes these days.
There was lighters still in cars back then too.
But anyways, see, man, we got, how the fuck
Squirrel!
smoking on airplanes. God bless. Back to Fred West. West's subsequent behavior was erratic. He became known to the police for various petty crimes. Then in 1961, he was accused of impregnating a 13-year-old girl. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. You can't be doing that. Things are beginning to go bad. Who was a friend of the West. He didn't even do it with a stranger.
Again, family, friends.
We've already talked about this.
That's how you get caught, folks.
Strangers. We're able to come here and do what we do because we only mess with strangers, not friends and family.
And you don't get much stranger than us here.
That is true. I kill him, he buries him. Sometimes we reverse it just to kind of see what it's like on the other end.
Got a synergy going there.
Yeah. Is that what they call it? Synergy?
A little machismo.
Machismo. I like that
There
one.
you go, machismo.
Machismo. So this was causing banishment from the family home. Turns out they weren't super stoked about him impregnating a 13-year-old girl. So that's probably got to go. He becomes a construction worker. That seems fitting for some reason.
Shovels.
That is true. He does have a lot of shovels. But was soon caught stealing from his employers, as people that have sex with minors do. Also,
had more sex with minors.
Yeah. At his trial for the rape of the young family friend, he escaped a jail sentence, as it was claimed that he was suffering fits as a result of his head trauma, but he was convicted of child molestation.
Yay.
I don't really follow all of that, but whatever. I haven't followed the legal system in quite some time. I've actually adopted my own. It works much better, much more effective.
Yeah.
Not a courtroom you want to find yourself in, though, I promise. Anyways, early in 1967, McFall becomes pregnant with West's child, urging him to divorce the lady he was married to and marry her instead. So I think we skipped forward a little too far there. Let's back up just a little bit. After the child molestation charges, West gets married, and then he ends up impregnating somebody else. McFall. Yeah, so as you can see, this dude's having a real problem keeping it in his pants. Keeping it in the right people.
And he is pretty fertile, too, it seems like.
Real quick fact, James had that problem for about 3 years. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so all of them were
wow.
so, yes.
Yeah, you gotta do what I do. Wait till you're in your 40s, marry somebody, you're gonna have all of a sudden have 3 daughters and 5 grandkids.
Well, I was in my 30s.
All in
so
one day, I got 3 daughters and 5 grandkids.
what a beautiful day that must have been.
And then another one adopted us.
Wonderful.
Later down the road.
Wonderful. I will say children can be amazing. They absolutely can be.
Especially when there's somebody else.
Or you get to give them back.
Yep. Wind them up, send them over.
No. We really like them. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways.
Yeah, they're tasty.
But Wes was unwilling to leave his current wife. So what do you do in that situation? Grave Digger, I'm going to ask you. So, let's say, hypothetically here. Okay, so
I'm not gonna read ahead. Go ahead.
So you're married to Lady A, but you made a boo-boo with Lady B. You let off from Lady B when you shouldn't. Uh-oh, Lady B got pregnant. So, now, Lady B comes to you and says, hey, Lady A's not pregnant. I want you to leave Lady A, come be with me, Lady B.
I'd behead one of them.
Absolutely, immediately.
Yeah.
Cut them into small pieces.
It really
something
doesn't
like-
matter which one.
Well,
Either one.
Flip a coin.
yeah, honestly, I think even flipping a coin is really leaving up to chance too much. I think you could line them both up against a wall, hatchet in each hand, take a big swing, whichever one it sticks to, and maybe you get lucky and take out Lady A and Lady B. And now you can start all over again with Lady C.
There you go.
2 birds with 2 hatchets. There you go.
Man, Trish is going to hate James by the time this is over with this evening. I can feel it already. Anyways, Wes was unwilling to do so he chooses to kill the pregnant McFall. That July, buries her near the caravan park, cutting off her fingers and toes, a signature mutilation that was to become a common feature in his future crimes. Renee moved into the caravan following McFall's disappearance, because why not? There was nothing suspicious
Hey,
about
don't
it.
worry. I sent her away. She won't bother us anymore.
She's just down the road.
Come
down
on,
the road.
move on in.
Within 6 months of McFall's death, Wes was, believe it or not, real surprise coming up here, linked to another disappearance of 15-year-old Mary Bassifal. Now, she was abducted from a bus stop in that same stupid city that we're still not going to say. It's in England. It's all in England. We'll wrap that up right now. It's all in England, in case you're wondering.
Enough said of it.
In January 1968. Although only circumstantial evidence has ever been produced to corroborate this, November 1968,
I think that's supposed to be collaborate. Corroborate?
corroborate.
Corroborate.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Never mind.
Anyways, we're learning every day. Anyways, November 1968, he becomes acquainted with the real lady that we're here to talk about this evening.
Oh, that's right. We're not even here to talk about Fred, are we?
No, I thought it was Adam.
No. Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Adam's the Mothman.
Yeah.
The Mothman. No?
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Are you
Don't
sure?
listen to him. He's been lobotomized.
Did they electroconvulsive shock therapy you today?
No.
I told her to stop doing that. Anyways, that's the real reason we're here. It's Rosemary. We're going to get away from Fred West. I know who it is. Stop it. Like I didn't know my own show. Get out of here. That's only happened a couple of times. Now, Rosemary's father did make one decent decision, I think, in his whole life. He was strongly opposed to her relationship with Fred West. Probably because of all the murder and the sex with minors. Would be my guess.
You know what? I'm thinking her dad wasn't that against that.
To elaborate.
Well, I believe Rose was still a minor
Yup.
when her dad was like raping her, wasn't he? Okay, so I gotta bring this up. You know, the whole nature versus nurture type thing. Do you think this woman, and we'll get more talking about her, so maybe we'll save the answer for later, but do you think she was born as evil as she was, or perhaps her whole starting out and the things that she went through created this evil being?
you know, that's something that from the beginning of these Killer Fridays, it's been a focus. It's part of the reason that we like to focus on the upbringing just as much as the actual killings. I really think they coincide with each other personally. I don't think that any upbringing excuses, justifies the actions that we see here. But I do believe they can contribute. And if you're a dick parent and you're a kid that maybe has some bad wiring, and then you don't handle that bad wiring, and instead you're a dick parent, I think that can contribute a lot to people becoming that type of person. But in the same aspect, you look at somebody like a Ted Bundy, who had a wonderful upbringing, was wired correctly, was just one evil sick. And I think both answers are right. I think that yes, certain people are just born that way. You have people like me. I didn't do this. It's just who I am. And my parents, not giving me that at all.
I had great parents, and look what happened here, right? So, you know.
Ted Bundy 2.0. I have seen him eat people. So.
Tastes like chicken.
That's actually what we're thinking about having tonight for dinner. A little bit of chicken. Chicken. Not blonde human. Chicken. We're gonna have chicken for dinner tonight.
I don't know, blonde human sounds good.
Shut. She's right there.
She ain't hearing me. She's too busy writing something.
Yeah, that's what they all say. She's paying attention. Anyways, her father did object to the relationship. To no avail. She was soon pregnant with West's child and found herself looking after his 2 children from his previous marriage with Renee.
And how old was she at this time?
I want to say 13? 14, I believe. Could be. I could be. He caught me with a tricky one, though. He caught me off guard. I think 14, but I could be incorrect.
Just 14 when they got married.
14
when they got married. Yeah, I think she was looking after all the kids and stuff by the time she was 15, 16.
Obviously, that's going to have a mental break on
Just a child. Just a little
wasn't ready for all. I obviously, again, don't agree with how this story ends, but I get how she became who she was. Literally not one single stroke of good luck seems to hit this lady. Nothing that gives her hope for the future, nothing that makes her want to keep persevering, pressing on to be better than what she would become. And again, it doesn't justify it, but you can see it a little bit more than what you can see it out of somebody like a Ted Bundy. Again, just this minister's humble opinion. But again, it is thought that the pressure of caring for 3 children while she was still a child herself would trigger Rose's violent, erratic tendencies. Now, I have watched James raise the 2 in the house a lot, and they sometimes break him down mentally. So he's an adult-ish, kind of, at times. Sort of. He has his moments every once in a blue moon. But it's tough for a full-grown adult to handle children sometimes, let alone a child herself that has not had a good upbringing, hasn't been shown how any human being should be raised in any way, shape, or form, and now she's expected to raise 3 of them. Of course it's going to trigger some violence. This damn laptop does that before I'm going to throw it.
That's because you're not moving it enough.
I'm not touching or playing with it enough.
Not playing, you gotta caress it.
I'm going to touch it more. Touch the laptop more. Anyways, it's believed during this time that she murders the 8-year-old Wes's eldest child in 1971 during one of these violent outbursts. So we have Miss West's
That was a
stepchild, yes. There is a common trend with children, regretfully, in this one. A lot of children meet their ends a little earlier than what they should. But the first one is Charmaine. This was, again, the eldest child from West's previous marriage. Kills her in one of these violent outbursts.
And it wasn't Fred. We know it wasn't Fred because why?
Fred was in jail.
He was in jail.
Fred was in jail.
Right, he had an alibi.
Yeah. So whatever the true circumstances were, Charmaine suddenly disappeared. And again, just as Grave Digger pointed out, West was in jail at this time. It's likely that her body was hidden by Rose until Fred West's release. He was then thought to remove the body, removing the fingers and toes. You know that gentleman from Brimstone Hall, Skinner.
Yeah.
Be a big fan of Fred West.
Yeah.
I think so. I think they'd get along. A lot of new necklaces for Skinner. Anyways, he's thought to have moved the body when West's wife Renee came in search of her daughter, trying to figure out where her little girl is. Well, Grave Digger, what happened to her, Renee? Strangled.
It's like, what do I do? She's asking questions. I don't know. What do I do? Kill her.
Yes. As you can see, that is a common solution for his problems in life.
Yes.
You stir too much drama with old Fred West, and you're going to be losing some fingers and toes. Because after the strangulation, of course, dismembered, fingers and toes, they're removed. Skinner has a brand new necklace. Wonderful. Fred and Rose West were then married because why the fuck not? Why not? These two seem to have a great family connection and seem to really know how to run a core family. So they're married in January of 1972. They have their second daughter named May, born in June. That's weird. They should have called her June.
Yeah. Maybe she was late.
Possible.
That's like my sister. March, April, May. She's born in March. Name's April May.
Either way, during this time, Rose decides to earn some extra money as a prostitute. Because, She can. Have you thought about being a prostitute?
No, not. Never mind.
Maybe we'll get into that story
I
on the
was
8th.
always a minister.
Maybe. Anyways, I'll pay for you, man. Anyways.
I'm easy, but I'm not cheap. Okay, I'm cheap.
Alright, he is very cheap. Rose earned extra money as a prostitute. West commits acts of bondage, violent sex acts on underage girls because that's who this fucking asshole was.
That's what he does.
The cellar of their home at 25 Cromwell Street was an absolute torture chamber.
Whips and all kinds of stuff. And I even saw online they had pictures of the torture devices and stuff that they used.
Yes, very, very serious stuff going on.
Yeah.
And regretfully, and this is where we have said this so many times on Killer Friday that we don't know how these stories can take a turn for the worst. And yet somehow they always seem to take a turn for the worst. You hear certain things and you're like, all right, they're killing their stepkids now. It can't get worse. It does. They built a torture chamber. And who is the very first occupant of this torture chamber? His own fucking daughter. Anna Marie becomes one of its first occupants. Subjected to horrifically brutal rape by her father while her stepmother held her down. This became a regular occurrence and the child was threatened with beatings if she told anyone of her ordeal. So your sense of protection from your father and who is the mother figure in your life right now, taking full advantage of a child, and that's something that not even I, the minister, can get behind us. And while Grave Digger and I do have a pretty firm grasp on that, we are selective as to who goes where and who does what. And we do have a little party chamber in hell where he and I get down and have some fun.
But some people are just too sick for it.
Regretfully, we did have to keep part of hell the way that it is for people like Fred West. Because we just cannot be okay with this. This is absolutely, this is awful. This is not minister endorsed, I promise. But anyways, that becomes a regular occurrence, the constant rape from your father while your stepmother's just watching it go down. And I can't get my head around that, how she could just, not only just watch, but participate.
Well, she was sick.
She was.
She is sick. She was sick, and she had all this kind of stuff, and maybe that was the norm for her. I mean, she was raped by her father.
She was.
Continually. And
You know, and we talk about the lifestyle that she was shown growing up as a child. That was the only relationship she didn't know. So again, not justifying it, but can see it a little bit more. So this behavior begins to extend beyond the family circle. Finally, they're getting into strangers.
Why?
Oh man, it took them long enough.
And you know what? So she's got all this stuff going on in her head, and she has a hard time taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a hard time taking. So, sorry, I was distracted.
Squirrel.
So what do they do when they have a hard time taking care of the kids?
Just start. Mixing some of them.
No, you get a nanny.
Oh yeah, that's right. We are about to get into nanny time. See, he's smart.
I read ahead.
So anyways, he thinks I have everything memorized, and I'm not that good. Not that good. This is why I'm cheating. But anyways, the behavior extends beyond the family circle. In 1972, they engaged 17-year-old Caroline Owens as a
Nanny.
no puppy. Now, as soon as she began her wonderful job as a nanny for the wonderful West family, she was immediately incarcerated, stripped, and raped. Got the trifecta. That is a good first day in the office right there. If I've ever had one. Incarcerated, stripped, and raped, man. That is not the way to start a job. If you start any job, and your first day they incarcerate you, strip you, and rape you, I'm going to just throw out a small suggestion. Don't go to day 2.
No.
Don't go to day 2.
And she didn't.
She didn't.
This is like the one that actually got away.
Despite the threats that she would be killed and buried in the cellar, Owens was able to make an escape and reported the West to the police. Thank me. I was going to say thank God, but we don't talk about him. Thank me. The police are involved now. This is over, right?
Yeah.
It's all done.
Good deal.
It's all done. The Wests are going to jail. It's over. Thank you for coming to a Killer Friday. Have a wonderful...
Nope. You still got a
I didn't vote.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit. All right. Charges were brought against them. Incredibly, despite his existing criminal record, West was able to convince a 1973 court magistrate that Owens had consented to the rape.
Yeah.
And Owens was too deeply traumatized over what she had survived.
1973. The magistrate was on drugs. Had to be.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Had to be.
And Owens was just too deeply traumatized by the experience to be able to do any type of testimony. So the West both escaped with fines. They were fined for rape. That's crazy, man. And then over the next several years, we have several other murders that take place. And now, you all know what happens when we have several murders taking place. That brings us to murder time. And that's where we are right now. We are going to dive right into murder time, getting to the crux of Rosemary West and her many victims.
I don't want to be in her crux.
Nah.
There's been too much bad stuff.
Yeah, she's rough. This is going to kind of incorporate both Fred and Rosemary. Obviously, they did the majority of this together, so you'll hear a lot of Fred, a lot of Rosemary.
You know what? We're coming up on murder time. Have you shared this out yet? More people need to hear about this murder time. If you haven't shared this out yet, share this out.
Share.
Share it out. I would say give hearts for murder time, but that just seemed wrong.
Yeah, it does.
That just seemed wrong.
It's going to be hard to like
right.
this stuff right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Share it out anyway.
Share it out. We're all having a good time here tonight. So after the incident, the couple felt they could no longer leave any witnesses.
Nope.
So,
Witnesses are bad.
most of their victims were white females with ages ranging from teens to mid-20s. They did prefer young girls, whom they usually lured to their house, under the premise that they would be hired as
Nannies!
Surprise, eventually they raped and tortured them in elaborate sadistic bondage acts for days, and then strangled or suffocated them, chopped them up, got rid of the fingers and toes. No more fingers and toes for any nannies out there. And buried them on their property. While raping and murdering and torturing young women, Fred also sexually abused Anna Marie West, his daughter from his previous relationship, She eventually became pregnant, but she has a miscarriage. And honestly, that's a terrible thing. It's an awful thing, but in this one particular time, she may have been appreciative of it. I don't know. I don't want to speak for that. Miscarriages are terrible in every single circumstance, but perhaps this one maybe didn't hit her quite as hard. That's when she fled the home. Fred continued abusing his daughters.
What's left over?
Oh, man. So in May 1992, Fred is...
Boy, that 1992, that's really not that long ago.
Not at all. Not at all. And Rosemary West is still alive. Still alive, still in jail right now. I got some really cool music playing.
Dance
I think
break.
it's called a squirrel. Anyways, May 1992, Fred videotaped himself while raping one of his 7 daughters, as any good father does. Wait.
Mementos.
I still get confused. I'm sorry. I try to keep everything straight. Sometimes I get off track. But she goes and tells friends at school what had happened. Her parents contacted police. Eventually, Fred was charged with rape. Rosemary was charged as an accomplice. The police start to look around, and then they uncover human bones buried at or near the house. The deeds of the sick predator couple were exposed to the entire British public. And again, we come full circle here. Because, see, what happened was the police find the bones of the people that have been raped, tortured, cut apart, all these fingers and toes. Skinner's running around collecting fingers and toes. Oh, wait, I made that last part up.
I wonder if you made a necklace out of them.
Well, that's why he said Skinner. Skinner was the one I had all.
Yeah. I wonder if this guy made any necklaces out of them too.
Maybe.
That's a good question.
He might have ate them.
Perhaps we could try and get him a little clip that he's in and ask him one day.
Maybe
Throw him right back
he
in.
always offered his friends appetizers.
Gives whole new meaning to the word chicken fingers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Anyways, now, as I was saying, it comes around full circle. Had he been smart and went to Grave Digger to bury his victims, they would have been buried deep enough that the police would have never found them, and he would have never had any issue. But, are you leaving? Are you leaving? She's leaving. She is ignoring us and leaving. Moving on. Squirrel. But the evidence against Rosemary was largely circumstantial. Unlike her husband, her husband confesses to these crimes, and he ends up actually never going to trial. He ends up. Do you remember the fate of old Fred West before we brought him on down?
I believe that he took care of it himself.
Yes, he hung himself by bed sheets before he ever went to trial.
Autoerotic asphyxiation. Oh no, he just hung himself.
Something like that. But anyways, so
He escaped.
yeah.
He took
the
Coward's way out.
Coward's way out. Yeah.
But anyway, so the evidence against Rosemary was largely circumstantial. But nevertheless, she was found guilty of all 10 murders and sentenced to life in prison. Now, we're going to flash back just a little bit to some of the other children that were involved with murder time a little bit.
What year was she sentenced to life in prison? I think you even have it there. It was 1990. It was not 92. It was like 90 what?
1991.
I mean, it's 91 or 2. Yeah.
But not anymore.
This woman is still alive.
Yes, that's the important. She is still very much alive and currently rotting in a UK cell as we speak this evening about her. But she did have several more children. One of the daughters was Louise. We're doing a little backwards flip here, touching back on a few others we didn't hit in murder time. So try and keep up. Try and stay focused.
Flashback.
I know, we're on a flip, flapping back and forth a little bit, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to hold your hand the whole way. Make sure that you get to the end.
1996.
96.
96. There we go.
Her daughter Louise was born in 1978. Not all of Rose's children were believed to be fathered by West, probably because of all of the prostitution, one would believe. But anyways, I lost my spot there for a second. So anyways, she joins the brood in 1980. Rosemary Jr. following in 1982 to Messina, 1983. The children were aware.
That's the year I graduated.
1982?
Yep.
Very cool. Wait. You never said you graduated.
You gotta learn how to do shit, and I did it right, so I passed.
So he says. Anyways, the children were aware to some extent of the activities in the home, but West and Rose exercised strict control over them. Now, I do want to talk about one more particularly disturbing story that has to do with the Wests before we get ready to kind of close things out this evening. West's sexual interest in his own daughters didn't wane either. And as we've talked about, Anne-Marie moves out to live with her boyfriend. He switched his attentions to younger siblings, Heather and Meg. Heather resisted his attentions in 1987, told a friend about the goings-on of the house. The West responded by murdering and dismembering her and burying her in the back of the garden. Now this sounds pretty typical for these folks, right? We've seen this happen before. What made this act any more sinister? He made his son Stephen dig the hole to bury his own sister in. So again, just absolutely, just sick. Yeah, absolutely.
New grave digger in the making.
Yeah, no, not a grave digger. Not this grave digger at least. So we'll conclude talking a little more about the arrest and the eventual life imprisonment. Eventually, the activities drew the attention of Detective Hazel Savage. Again, with the video that we spoke of him videotaping himself raping his own daughter. And as we were talking about earlier, December 13th, 1994, West was charged on 12 counts of murder. He hung himself in his cell while awaiting trial because he was a coward. Rose goes on trial October 3rd, 1995. The jury unanimously found her guilty on 10 separate counts of murder. She was later sentenced to life in prison without parole. And that's where she currently resides now. That is going to be the end of our time with Rosemary West. And a little more Fred West than what I ever thought we were going to get into when we eventually put Rosemary West up the record. Like I said, this hasn't been the most fun one to get through, a little rougher. And I'm sure that when we put up the next two serial killers, it'll somehow find a way to get worse. It always does.
It always does.
I never thought I'd look back at H.H. Holmes and be like, man, not a bad guy. Not a bad guy.
At least he was creative.
In comparison to some of the stuff.
At least he was creative.
Not a bad guy, you know? Just happy to work for the wrong people sometimes. But anyways, Grave Digger, thank you all so much. So much for spending the evening with us.
Before can I throw a name out there of a serial killer maybe at some point and put up for a vote?
Absolutely.
Michael Ross.
Michael?
Look it up. I'm not kidding.
We're going to look it up.
Michael B. Ross.
You got that down?
I got that down.
All right. Real good chance that you're going to see Michael B. Ross going up against some other serial killer this month. For this voting. For next month's serial killer of the month. We're not done with you yet. We are this evening. This evening we're done. We're all done. We're finished. It's night. We don't want to see you no more. We don't want to do nothing else with you. It's hot. It is hot.
You're like, you just see it dripping.
A little bit of blood mixed in there too, though. It feels good. I like it. A little bit.
Chicken.
Yeah, we're going to have some chicken tonight. But anyways, we will be with you all tomorrow. We will be coming to you live from Ocon. Omaha's Comic-Con, right?
Omaha Comic-Con is called Ocon. Because they're really, never mind.
But that's going to wrap it up for this evening. We thank you all so much. Remember, voting is going on at scurryface.com. Right now, Mr. Giggles going up against Tiggy Tear.
Tiggy Tear.
Very easy to remember.
Tea time with Tiggy.
I'm telling you, you make your own decision on this when you vote for whoever you want for. If it was me clicking, though, I'd probably be clicking on Tiggy. I think Trish would click on Mr. Giggles.
I'm a Giggles.
So there's not a wrong decision to make here. Go vote. It doesn't matter. They're just going to lose when the time comes for Grave Digger's voting to start. But for now, let them enjoy their moment. Let them enjoy their time. Thank you all so much. Trish, I need you to press that button, please.
I'm
Have a
pressing.
wonderful evening.
99.